Hi, friend.
Hey, girl. All right, let me get a little situated here.
There you go.
All right. Hi, I'm Sabrina,
And I'm Marisol.
and this is the Unfiltered Vibes podcast where we vibe out and share life unfiltered.
Welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Mm-hmm.
The drink of the day is pina coladas.
Yeah,
I
this
feel
was
like
a
our
last
ice
minute.
already melted. I feel like the ice already melted.
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah. But it's okay, though. They're good.
Yeah, it was a last minute idea. I was like, what the hell do I have at home that I can make that isn't tequila related?
I mean, I'm okay with beer, too. So, like, if you want to do that.
Yeah, we might have to do beer next time because I'm running out of ideas. But it's not hard. They're easy to make. But yeah.
Well, Yasmin's margaritas didn't really turn out that great, so.
Mine were better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I might just have to do a little tutorial. Honestly, I was thinking that we can just put the ingredients in the caption. That way, if like other people want it, we can just copy and paste and send it to them. Or hey, I'd be like, hey, go watch our YouTube, our podcast episode. Look at the description, and there's your ingredients you need and the measurements you need to make a margarita or
yeah, for sure, because
the kaki.
The strawberry margarita was really good, and the tahini definitely does make a whole difference.
It does. I think it just like enhances some of the flavor because it tastes different if it's like salt or sugar. Even though I know you don't do sugar.
Oh no, I do not.
I know, but yeah.
So how have you been? How's 2 weeks been?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been a rough like last 2 weeks. Like I just like been feeling so like tired and just like mentally and just everything drained, and especially like after this weekend I had my hands-on doula training. So I was there all weekend, like 10-hour days. And yeah, like that, like just learning so much information, and like my brain has just been so like overwhelmed. So yeah, I need like just a little bit of I need a lot of rest, honestly. Like I'm just so exhausted physically,
that was really a long weekend for you. It was like all day too.
Yeah, and like it was nonstop learning, and like we're doing hands-on and putting things into practice and stuff. And like don't get me wrong, I'm like incredibly grateful for this opportunity, and I'm so excited to like get into this entrepreneurship and just like do something that that I'm so like passionate. I'm just so excited. Like I'm really just ready to like jump in and start doing the thing. So, but your girl needs a little bit of rest. That like just some decompression.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm so excited. How have you been? How's your week?
Good. I have not been okay, actually. It's definitely been a little emotional for me. I have been going through some things, and then also like I just got my birth control back in, so like that on top of the medication that I'm already taking was kind of like taking me on a whole like emotional ride.
Yeah, your body was just like overwhelmed with hormones, so like it has to like regulate a little bit. So like that throws everything off. So
I've been a little thrown off. Life has been lifing for sure.
I feel that. No, like, and I feel like I don't know if you believe in this stuff, but like clips, and there's like a retrograde, and it's just like something in the cosmos too is just wreaking havoc on like everybody's life, and everything just feels like you can't get a grasp on shit. It's just like holding on for dear life until this phase is over. And yeah.
So
oh man,
that's been my couple days.
Yeah. Are you starting to feel a little bit better, or?
I have my days. I have ups and downs with everything and my situation. So, but you know, all you can do is kind of move forward, and I have to for my kids, regardless. So
and pray on it.
I literally have no other choice.
You're not in this journey alone. Like, not only do you have a great support system, but like you have a good faith too. Like, you believe in God and you pray, and you know that's something you can lean on too.
Yeah.
Especially on those days that you feel alone and don't even want to talk to people either. So, but you know that you've been doing that. You're doing all the things that you need to do. But like I told you, you're going through a grieving process, and there's no timeline on grief. So you feel what the fuck you need to feel, get it all out, and yeah, like, there's no time on it. Like, no one's here to be like, okay, you're done crying. That's it. No more crying. You're not allowed to cry anymore.
Right.
Like, you need to just put you in first and be happy and move on and do all the things.
Yeah.
There's no. Do you take your time. Give yourself grace.
Thanks. I'm trying.
You got this, friend. We got this. Well, that takes us into like our topic for episode 3. Oh, shit. Motherhood. Motherhood. And a little bit of breastfeeding thrown in there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you want to go?
I guess I'll go for.
Because
So
I have
for
like 5
me,
kids
like,
to talk about.
Because
I have like 5 kids to talk about.
5 kids, girl. You have 2.
Seems like 5 nowadays.
Oh man. So for me, like, my motherhood journey began with my miscarriage. So before Roman, obviously, for those that don't know, I had a miscarriage before Roman. So Roman's my rainbow baby. And that was a completely surprise. Like, we did not plan that. It was just a little oopsie. And honestly, I took a plan B because we know that we had fucked up, and the plan B didn't work. So then I ended up getting pregnant, and yeah, like, I went through a whole roller coaster of emotions when I found out I was pregnant with my first baby. I was just like, oh my God, my life is over. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, we're not prepared for this. This is not something we planned for. Like, Rangers was still in nursing school. I had just graduated. I had just gotten, like, at that time, my dream job, like, something I was loving. And I was just like, we just got an apartment. Like, there's no space for...
Was that your old apartment?
Yeah, there's no space for a baby here. It's a 1-bedroom apartment on a 3rd floor at that. So yeah, like, we were just going through it. And then once we got over that initial part of, oh my God, I'm so scared.
Right.
I like gave into it, and I'm just like, okay, this is happening. We just have to, we're going to figure this shit out. It's not like we're doing this shit alone, and it's not like we're broke. Like, we both have good jobs, and, we're going to figure it out. And so we were excited. And then we go to our first ultrasound appointment, and the tech is there, and she's just like quiet for a really long time and can't figure, like it was just like too quiet for too long. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And she goes, well, we can't find the baby's heartbeat. Just mad nonchalant about it. And like, I just broke down. Like, there was like, yeah, like, I just looked at Rangers
about it. I'm sorry you had to go through that, because I don't think I could imagine.
Yeah, it was not easy. Like, we were 11 weeks at that point. And that was our first ultrasound. And yeah, like, it was just so traumatizing. And like, it was like, I'm not going to say most, but most people, like, some people's experiences is they are at home and they start bleeding, and that's how they miscarry. For me, that didn't happen. I didn't bleed at all. Like, my baby they just couldn't find a heartbeat at all. So, like, I never bled. I never passed my baby. I had to schedule surgery and remove my baby at that point. And that just sent me into a really dark place. Like, I was super depressed, the most depressed I've ever been in my whole life. Had to go on medication, had to go to therapy, had to quit my job. I didn't work for a while until like I got mentally right, because I was working with children at the time, and it was just triggering to like continuously be around kids, be around pregnant women, and helping women work through their traumas and stuff like that. So yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I had to take I literally took a leave of absence from life, just life. Like, well, I just had to thank God that we were able to do that too, because we were in such a transitional period of our life, because we bought a home, we were expecting to have a baby, we were doing all these things, and then boom. That's just like we were robbed of this, of something that we were expecting, like that joy. Um, so yeah, then I did all the healing and went to therapy, did medication, slowly started getting back into me and doing life and stuff. And then I think like a year later, so we had my miscarriage in November, and then we got pregnant with Roman in September of the following year.
Okay.
So a year apart, and so he was our rainbow baby, and he was intentional, and we tried to have him, and he's just perfect in every single way. And yeah, like my pregnancy was freaking amazing. I never had morning sickness. Like, he was healthy all around. You know, we hit all the milestones. I had an amazing birth.
All natural.
I know. So like, I worked with a doula for my birth. And we followed my birth plan to a T, even though it was a 19-hour labor and delivery. I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again, completely unmedicated, no IVs, nothing. I had a vaginal natural birth. And yeah, like, it was everything I could have wanted.
That's good.
And I wouldn't have been able to achieve that without my husband and without my doula. And my next baby is going to be like the same exact team. We're going to do all the things again. And like for all my friends that always ask me, it's like, how did you achieve that? And I'm like, girl, you know how much preparation I did ahead of time to get the birth that I wanted? Not only was I like moving my body and preparing like my body for birth, but mentally and like with knowledge too, like mentally prepare myself to know what my body's about to go through, all the different stages of labor, how to breathe through these contractions, like how to know how to time your contractions, what the different stages of labor are.
Yeah, I mean, good that you did that, because I don't think a lot of people actually like put that much thought into like their labor. They just go in and you're just like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Yeah, like, you just trust the doctor. You're like, okay, like I'm gonna deliver at a hospital. Like the nurses and doctors know what they're doing. They do this every day. But like every birth is different. Like every experience is unique to that person. Every, like, not one birth is the same. Like, doctors and nurses do this every day. So for them, it just becomes like work. But for you, this is like a once in a lifetime experience that you're about to have. So you want that to be the best that it can possibly be. So you need to put in work so that you can get the things you need, and you're not just treated like any other pregnant woman that's coming in and pushing a baby out or having a baby. So yeah, I knew that, and I was intentional about my birth and how I wanted my son to come into this world. And yeah, like, everything I did, I will do it like again and again and again.
Well, you might as well, because you already did it unmedicated. Like,
yep.
Yeah. So
yeah,
go ahead, pop out your other 3 kids.
I do really think about like, damn, I kind of want to experience what like not having like feeling all that pain and going through that. But it also is such like I wear my unmedicated birth like as a badge of honor. Like, I did that shit.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I mean, you have to.
No drugs. But you know, that's not everyone's experience. Like, everyone has different pain thresholds and like what their body can tolerate too. And not everyone is also able to go like physically deliver their baby. And it doesn't go to the way that they want it sometimes. And that's hard too.
Yeah.
So
no,
yeah.
I definitely went in and I was like, give me all the fucking meds. I don't give a shit. So with Audi, that was like my initial thought process. So I had her back in 2019, and it was a pretty smooth birth. Yeah, I mean, I had my husband, I had my sister, I had his mom. And yeah, I definitely did the epidural because I was like, fuck this. Like, my sisters were like, why? Because I guess my mom told them, like, when they were giving birth, like, no, like, you better not do the medication, blah, 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 this and that. So they were like, you know what? If you don't have to go through the pain, like, just don't do it. And I was like, fine, let's just go on with it. But, yeah, thankfully, I honestly, like, I got the epidural, and then like a few hours later, I was pushing. I literally only pushed maybe for like 20 minutes, and then she was out. But that is the thing, though, because it's like I feel like it's a lot slower when you have the medication because everything just kind of like slows down. And then I
Right.
was waiting for like forever. But then, like, when it's finally time, it was like
Yeah,
it
because when you
happened
get
in
the
like so
medication, like your
fast.
body's like, oh wait, what's going on? Like you're so relaxed, like you're not, like can't, like your body can't do what it's supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
because it just had like an interruption, pretty
Right.
much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does slow things down, but hey, and also too, like you're bedridden at that point, like you can't
Mm-hmm.
move once you get an epidural.
Yeah.
So like that slows things down too, like when if you can't move around and get your baby ready to go into position and stuff, but. I love that for you that you only push for 30 minutes. I
Probably
pushed for
not even 30
I
minutes. I
pushed for
swear.
3 hours. I was
No.
in labor for 16
I
hours
was
and
like,
then
I'm
pushed
not
for
trying to feel
3.
this fucking head coming out. Like, no. Why would I want to do
Yeah,
that?
it's not a it is it hurts. It
Oh, I'm
hurts so
sure.
bad.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and I tore a little bit too, so yeah. Like that's the only medication I got is when they were stitching me up. That they inject the numbing. And that shit is crazy. Getting your fucking needle in your todo.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a wild experience.
I didn't feel it.
Lovely. And that's why I'm like, damn, do I want an epidural for my next one? But I'm like,
No,
nah, I
you
already
don't.
did this
No,
shit.
yeah, you
I
already
already
did
did
it.
it.
No, you can't. You
Honestly,
can't.
I'm like, should I do a home birth?
That'd
But then
be
you have to think
interesting.
about like, okay, now then I gotta hire a midwife and, think about all those things. And honestly, I don't think
You're gonna have to buy
Rangers
a
would
pool.
Rangers. I don't think Rangers would love that. Like he's an RN, so he's like he knows all the risk and complications that come with that, and like he knows. Yeah. I don't know if he would be on board with that, but we'll see.
So my breastfeeding journey with Audi was, I went into it very naively, because like I don't know about you. Well, no, because you're totally different. Like, I know you did all the research for it, but like, my family made it seem like breastfeeding was the easiest fucking thing in the world. So I'm going in here and I'm just like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
No. So unfortunately, that mindset got me into like 3 weeks later where I got mastitis and I was out for an entire weekend. Like I had a fever, I had the chills, I had everything. Like Tito had to go sleep with the baby in another room. And it was just so crazy. So then after that, I was just like, fuck this. Like I cannot do it. I can't do it anymore. And yeah, it's breastfeeding is no joke.
It's not. And so like I obviously I'm doing the doula training and stuff. So I attended like this pretty much like women were just talking about motherhood and postpartum and stuff. And this lady who's like a breastfeeding specialist, she was like, breastfeeding is a learned behavior. Like people think it's so like it just comes naturally to you, and that's what like it has become. That has the mentality that has been instilled in us from like generation to generation. But no, it's an instilled like a learned behavior. Like even like animals and stuff, like they have to see other animals do it so that they know how to do it. And it's the same thing with us. Like there's technique to it. Like you have to understand positioning, latching,
Mm-hmm.
how to nourish yourself enough to even
Oh
produce
my
enough
gosh.
milk, and
Yes.
or not do too much either so you don't overproduce and stuff. Like it is a learned behavior, and people are like, oh, it's so natural, just put your baby on the teta and then it's fine. It's no,
And it's
that's
not.
not. Like
Yeah.
you need to make sure your baby is latching right, their mouth is properly
On
on
properly.
your nipple, and
The whole
the
titty.
whole yeah, like you have to make sure they're in a good position. If not, your back is gonna be fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a learned behavior. And even for your baby, like your baby needs to learn how to breathe and suck at the same time. Like
Right.
there's a whole process to it, and it's not so easy that people believe. Um so yeah, so for me, breastfeeding, my mom didn't breastfeed, so she didn't know anything about it. Like I never saw breastfeeding in my family. I had my one cousin breastfed, but like I never watched her do it. I never saw her do it with her babies. Like she did do it, and that's like I just it's something that I knew I wanted to at least try and give it a chance and see, like, am I capable of doing this? So like I did for my birth, I researched, I did my homework, I learned that breastfeeding is not so easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like you need to make sure all these things are checked off and done so that you can have a breastfeeding like a successful breastfeeding journey with your baby. And there also is a process of to like getting used to that feeling too. Like it's even if you do everything right, it's still gonna hurt. Your body still needs to adjust to this new thing that's occurring for you and your baby. So yeah, those first 2 weeks were rough. Roman had such a tiny mouth, so latching was hard. I had to have a consultant come out and work with us and make sure he was even getting enough milk and stuff too, because that was a worry for me. But after those first 2 weeks, we became pros. Like we
Mm-hmm.
were just like went together real good. So yeah, like and like that's step one,
Mm-hmm.
establishing, you know, that healthy latching with your baby and all those things. But they don't talk about you having to wake up every 3 or 4 hours to feed your baby, or if they wake up or if they're cluster feeding, how much like how exhausting it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only are you waking up to like change your baby's diaper and all those things, but they need to eat every certain amount of hours. They can't sleep through the night, and because if not, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna have rock hard titties.
Yeah.
So you either you wake up with your baby and feed them, and you wake them up, or you pump and build a little bit of a stash and stuff. So all of that is so difficult. Honestly, I don't know how I did it for a year and a half. I breastfed Roman until he was 16 months. And I look back and I'm like, girl, how did you do that?
Yeah, that's a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
With Emmy, I was actually waking up every 3 hours to pump because my supply wasn't there, and then
Mm-hmm.
also latching her when she needed to feed. So like I wasn't sleeping at all, and then she was
Mm-hmm.
cluster feeding, and then she went through the what do they call that? The witching hour or something.
Where she
Um,
wouldn't, like, she would not sleep during the day and wake up at night.
where she would just cry.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I was
yeah.
just like, what is wrong with this baby?
Oh,
So that's what I was going through with her for a
yeah.
little bit. But yeah, cluster feeding is not fun.
No, and then they don't talk about, I mean, they do talk about, they do warn you about postpartum depression, postpartum baby blues, and all those things. And it's just like you're trying to adjust to being a mother. You're trying to learn a new thing, which is like breastfeeding. Your baby's waking up, you can't sleep, and then your hormones are fluctuating like crazy. Like your body's adjusting to its norm now, and you're just
So,
getting mad, getting pissed off for no reason. You're crying. And for me, like, I had really bad postpartum anxiety. Like, if I didn't see Roman in my sight or watch him when someone was changing him, bathing him, like, even with Rangers, like, I was such, like, I would just stand over him and make sure that he's doing everything the way that I did it. And I kind of had to, like, take a step back and just be like, let him be a father. Like, let him learn how to do it his way, even if it's not my way. Like, he knows how to take care of his child.
mm-hmm.
And if he has a question about something, he's going to ask me. So, like, I had to, like, kind of, like, take a step back and not be so mama bear and just kind of let him do his thing and trust him. And being, like, I had a baby with this man. So, obviously, I did that knowing that he's capable of being a good father, so I have to like let him learn how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, postpartum is so hard, like.
Yeah, so imagine going through all of that and not having your partner's support.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I've been kind of going through.
Yeah,
And
the
like
second this second
the
time.
second time, yeah, with
And
Emmy.
when you look at the, so one of my questions was going to be too, like, going back, like, is there anything that you would do differently with either of them for pregnancy or for birth or for breastfeeding? Is there anything that you would change or anything like that?
I don't think so. because I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a little bit, especially with Emmy, because I did do the research and I did
Mm-hmm.
ask you the questions, and I really wanted just to be able to provide for my child.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, life happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole entire month that she was home and I was stressing out, my mental was not okay.
Mm-hmm.
She did not gain any weight.
Yeah.
So then I realized that if I'm unable to provide for myself mentally and emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
how am I supposed to provide for this child?
Yeah.
So, but it did take me a really long time. I should have done it sooner,
Mm-hmm.
but had I realized that my child did not gain any weight that entire month,
Yeah.
maybe I would have switched her to formula a lot earlier. But you know, shit happens, and it really hurt because I tried so fucking hard.
Yeah. I know. You really did. Like, you really did put 100%. Like, you did all the things that you you were just going through a rough a life transition that was out of your control, and everything that you could control, you gave it 100% of your best efforts.
Yeah, so maybe I would have done that, but no, I feel like I tried. Regardless, I tried, and that's all that matters.
That's all you can do. Yeah. Yeah. So you were saying, like, postpartum, versus the first time versus the second time.
Yeah, no, the first time I didn't have it, like postpartum depression or whatever, because I had the support. Like, we were living at his parents' house, so like I had the help and everything. So just gonna throw it out there because I feel like I was also one of those people. Like, I told myself I did not want to be on medication. I did not want to feel this way, whether because I had the baby blues or the postpartum depression or whatever
And
it
they're
is.
two different. So post baby blues and postpartum depression are two very different things. Baby blues is a hormonal thing that is only temporary, and it's not so, how do I say, like, severe shit. Like, you're gonna cry and you're gonna be sad and stuff, but it doesn't last for all day. It doesn't last forever, and it's not so severe. It's like, I can't bathe, I'm having suicidal thoughts, I can't eat. It's not as severe as postpartum depression. Postpartum depression, you cannot have it for the first 6 weeks, and then it onsets, and then you're feeling like this all day, every day. You don't want to eat. You don't care about anything, and you're just trying to survive, and you just want to stay in bed. And I just wanted to make that distinction because they're two very different things, and baby blues is completely normal. And not saying that postpartum depression is not normal, but that's something that you need to see a professional about and
Right.
just tell someone.
Yeah, no, and I am, and I have. So I wanted to speak openly about it because I too was one of those people. Like, I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to rely on something, but like when I'm not okay, I have to be okay. Like, I have no option, because I have Audi, and she sees everything I'm going through. So, yeah.
Take a deep breath.
So now I'm a firm believer that, if you need a little medication to kind of get through the day, kind of get through life for a little bit, then go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, because I need to be okay for my girls in order to be the best mom I can be. And I want to be the best mom I can be.
You can't pour from an empty cup at the end of the day. And your daughters deserve to see, like, not only a happy mom, but a happy woman. Like, they need to know what that looks like, because if they're not, where are they going to learn that from?
Exactly.
And so I know, but they don't know where your two postpartum experiences so different.
Oh, sorry. That was a question.
Yes, like why were they so different? Like why do you feel that, like, obviously you said that you were with at your in-laws house for your first baby and you had all the support, but like what was different about the second time that you feel like you didn't have the support, you didn't have?
No, I didn't have. I can't really say that. I mean, I can't really say I had a lot of support, like emotionally during my pregnancy. I didn't have it there during labor. And I didn't really have it after, even after coming home. So I think I've just been kind of going through it by myself. And unfortunately, I feel like I've also been trauma bonding with my baby, which is horrible. So like now that when she's not with me, it gives me so much anxiety. And I just want to sit there and I miss her so much. And it's different from her and Audi because, like, obviously with Audi, I have to pretend like I'm perfectly okay. But I feel like Emmy and I were going through this life situation together.
Yeah.
So being away from her really just gives me horrible anxiety.
Yeah, and that's so valid for, like your situation right now, because it's like not she's been going through this with you since she was inside of you. So like you have a different kind of bond with her because of like you guys just going through like this like big transition in your life together, and it is a little bit of trauma bonding because you guys are going through a hard traumatic thing, and like it's so valid to feel like that. Like as horrible as it might seem to like people out there, like this is real life shit. Like this is real life unfiltered shit.
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna sugarcoat it because this is what's going on right now. And I'm so proud of you, friend. And I have so much respect for like your bravery and your courage and you being such a good ass mother despite what Marisol is going through.
It has been the hardest thing I think I've had to endure with my children because it's not the life that I envisioned when I decided to get married 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Especially for them because they deserve to have two happy parents. And like my parents are still together, your parents are still together, so like I grew up knowing that. But you just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't.
No. And I think also like our parents' generation is also really different.
Yeah.
Like they stay together no matter what. We're not dealing with the same bullshit that our moms put up with. We're not gonna pass down that generational trauma of like, no, you have to stay and keep a happy home and deal with all the bullshit that your husband is doing and seeing your mom pouring from an empty cup, seeing your mom unhappy, seeing your parents work all day and come home and they probably didn't even try this, but take their stress out on you and just not be 100% their happy best selves. And that's not their fault. Like I don't blame our parents for, doing that because it's like that some of those things were just out of their control, but like I don't want to do that with my kid. So,
no, I mean, I don't want to do that either, but there's also like a certain extent of like what you're willing to work through.
Right. For
and
sure.
not just like give up just because you feel like fucking giving up.
Right.
Because like marriage is not for the fucking weak.
No.
At all. And marriage is something that you work towards every single day. And
you have to fight for it every single day.
You have to fight. And both of you have to.
It's not a one-sided
you can't be
thing.
the only fucking person fighting for something,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel it definitely is work. Like any relationship, but especially a marriage, like you guys made a promise to each other under God and legally to this fucking country that it was till death do you apart. So like you have to give it every everything that you've got. Give it everything you've got, until you can't anymore, until you know that you've exhausted all your options and neither of you are happy. Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy, but I think in a marriage, like, you have to at least give it a chance. Like, you have to try. And if you don't try, then don't get fucking married. Don't do it. Don't do it if you're not gonna try to fight for your life, because you do build a life with this person. I mean, obviously there's non-negotiables. Like, I'm not about to put up with you beating my ass and you doing crazy shit like that. Everybody's non-negotiables are different, but when it's stuff that you can work through and that's something that you both have agreed on, you have to at least both put in 100%. And do the work.
It can't be 50 and it can't be 100. Like, it can't be 100% and it can't be 50%, because it's never going to balance.
Yeah, that's not fair to anyone. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to your kids if you have kids. It's not fair to your families. So yeah.
No, I think that's why I was like with Emmy. Like, when I found out I was pregnant, I sat there and I just cried, because I was like, this is not the perfect. Like, this is not the timing. This is just, but God gave me her for a reason, and I love her so much.
What was that point for you where you're like, okay, I need to get help? Like, what did you do? Like, did you talk to your doctor? Did you go to a therapist?
I called. Well, it was the point where I was at the doctor's with Emmy, and I realized that she didn't gain any weight since she left the hospital a month later. So she should have at least gained, she said, about 8 more ounces or something. And she was still her birth weight. So, like, I had a fucking breakdown at the pediatrician. I was like, I cannot believe this is fucking happening. Like, and if I would have realized that she didn't gain any weight that whole month, then I would have, like I said earlier, like, done something sooner.
Right.
So that was my breaking point, where I was like, I can mentally no longer, I'm not okay mentally. And I'm not eating, I'm not doing any of the things to be able to provide for her, because obviously when you're breastfeeding, you have to eat 24/7. You have to drink like 10 gallons of fucking water every day. And I wasn't doing, I mean, I was drinking the water. But was I able to eat? No, because I felt like I just wanted to fucking vomit. So that was my breaking point. So I called my doctor and I was like, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, let's start you on medication. So.
Do you feel like the medication is helping so far?
Yes.
That's good. And have you, I know, but have you started therapy? Yeah. Good. Therapy, guys, don't knock it until you try it.
I love therapy. I love my therapist. I feel like therapy, she's like me.
But I'm with the medication part too, because I was like you too. So like I said, like after my miscarriage, like I was in the darkest place I've ever been in my life. Like, I've never thought about suicide, and the fact that that came to my head, I'm just like, I'm not okay.
Right.
Like, this is not. I can't do this. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the point where I was like, okay, I can't just be talking to someone and expect that to solve, like, I can't just depend on therapy. Like, I know I need medication because I'm having these thoughts and I am in a really bad place and I'm doing the work and I'm not getting better.
Right. So how long were you on your medication for?
I think I did it for, I'm going to say like 4 months. Okay. Probably. But that was in conjunction with doing therapy and stuff. Like, I was doing both at that time, and I was seeing my therapist weekly, sometimes twice a week I would see her. And I did that for months to just work through all of my feelings, right, and stuff like that. And I love her, so I still think about her. Like, I still went to therapy. I still saw my therapist up until until postpartum with Roman. Like, I still saw her even through all. I saw her for like a year, a little over a year. Okay. And yeah, it was. I think everybody needs to do therapy, even if you have no trauma.
Yeah.
See a therapist. Like,
Yeah,
it
they'll
just
fi- they'll
helps. You
they'll,
just learn.
they'll
You just,
figure it out for you.
yeah, you just learn so much.
About yourself too, and
And
just
coping mechanisms. Like, you don't know how important it is to just breathe. Take a deep breath, bro. Let it out. Like, it just, you just learn so much. Because I was saying, like, I was like that too. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do medication. Like, I don't need that shit. No. Sometimes you get to a point
sometimes
where,
you do.
like,
Yeah.
that's really like the only option you have to kind of like balance out those hormones, to kind of give you a break from not crying all the time and not feeling so fucking depressed.
Yeah.
So that you can actually work through your shit without crying. Try to put in those coping
Mechanisms. You
What
can
the
never
fuck?
say that word.
Every time. Coping mechanisms.
Yeah. I mean, and I just, I mean, for me, it's just like everything just hit me at once. Like life happened. Or no, I had a baby and then life happened and then birth control and then like all, like everything. And it's just like all my fucking hormones are just all over the place. So
Yeah.
I'm ready to just be at a place where I'm at peace. And that's what I'm going to therapy for. So I can learn how to heal and just, yeah, and be okay for my girls because they deserve a happy mom and I deserve to be happy myself. So
You do. Yeah, you do. You deserve to fill your cup.
Yeah.
And you're getting there. You know, every day is a step
Forward
for sure. I love you.
I love you.
Come here. All right.
So we did a couple questions.
Yeah. And I'm proud of you. These questions were good. So we did a little poll on our Instagram, and if you're not following our Instagram, please go follow us at Unfiltered Vibes Podcast. That's where we post everything, like our questions, clips, when our episodes are dropping. Even though we've been so consistent, 3 episodes in, every other Thursday. So yeah, go follow us. And so I was saying that Marisol, shout out to Marisol, finally doing some shit.
I'm getting there.
I know. She posted some questions so that our followers could answer and just kind of chime in, because we really do want to include you guys more in these episodes, and hear from you guys as to like what you want, your opinions on topics, what current events y'all are tuning into, because I realize that I'm one of the only ones that really watches Love is Blind out of my friends and stuff. So I want to know what y'all into too. We do. So yeah, Marisol asked some questions on her Instagram. So
all right. So question number 1: what did your parents teach you about parenting? So the hay comida en la casa one. That is true. Because
That is
sometimes I'd
such
be like, we have
facts.
food at the house, but
We don't got McDonald's money. Hay comida en la casa. What you need McDonald's for? Hay papa frita in the freezer.
yeah, but who wants to?
No one wants to make that shit.
No.
It's not the same.
Lead with action as much as you lead with words. Your kids will remember how much you show up for them. Just because they failed as a husband/wife does not equal them failing as a father/mother. If the relationship doesn't work out, never punish the other parent with parenthood. And feel free to comment if you want to. I'm just kind of reading these questions.
Yeah. So.
Or these answers.
Oh shit. Yeah. So the last two that you read, they were from the same person. If they fail, even if they fail as a husband or wife, that doesn't mean that they can fail as a father or mother, or in a relationship. Like, you can't punish them with their parenthood. So I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. Like, a lot of times we'll see those bitter baby mamas, using their kids as pawns, as to like, oh, well, if you don't love me, or if you don't want to talk to me, then you can't see your kids, or if you don't give me money, well, then you can't see your kids. I never got that. Like, I don't get that, as using your kids as a weapon to hurt this other person. Because, like, at one point y'all loved each other at one point, and wasn't.
Well, you're not even hurting the other person, you're hurting the child
at the end of the day, really.
So
yeah. But like, you're doing this because you're like, oh, I'm just trying to get back at this person. But you're right, at the end of the day, it's not hurting them, it's not hurting you. You are hurting yourself in a sense, but you're hurting your kids. Like, they're the ones that really feel the results of your actions at the end of the day, when it comes to their mother and father, and if they're at war. And you're also setting that example for them, as to like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do if I'm ever in this situation. Yeah, I don't know, what do you think?
No, I think the same thing. As long as the other person is like a good parent, and there's like open communication about the children, then there's really, like, if you're just being fucking better, then you need to work on healing yourself, because the kids ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, for real. What's the other answers?
Nothing. I had to help raise my brothers hands on while they worked, and what not to do.
That part too. Like, our parents did the best they could, but there's also things that they didn't do, that they kind of like missed the mark on, that you're like, okay, I don't want to repeat that same thing with my kids, so I'm gonna learn as to like what not to do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to repeat that. So this is what I am gonna do. This is how I am gonna change it. Yeah, right. At the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do, is break some generational curses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like that. Okay, question number 2. What are you most proud of in your motherhood journey? Someone said breastfeeding. That I get to break generational curses, and the mother I needed for my sons. Everything, their accomplishments, their drive for success, making sure my son has a father and mother, gentle parenting.
Yeah. So we just kind of touched on that, like breaking those, like that we're able to like make a difference in our kids' lives and be that person that breaks those generational curses for our kids, because we're doing that,
Yeah, we definitely want the best.
And also seeing them grow, like, like she just said, like everything that they're doing and all the milestones that they're hitting, and
showing up, being like their number one fan. Yeah, like I want that. I want them to have it, because our parents were too busy working.
Right. And that part too,
Yeah.
like we're prioritizing our kids' ballet shows, their dance shows, their sports games, even if it is on a weekday at freaking 3 p.m. Like, we're gonna show up and be there for them. So I echo those sentiments.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that we didn't even answer these questions ourselves. So, what are you most proud of in your motherhood journey?
I am most proud of Audi being able to express her feelings, because I could never express my feelings. That's something I've recently worked through in therapy. Um, but yeah, that little girl, she will tell you how she feels. And she is just the sweetest little girl too. So like, she gives it as well. And I am just, everyone's like, we know she's so loved at home because she's just so cuddly. She's so this, and the way that she talks too, because she's like, I am the most specialist kid in the world because my mom says I am. And I'm like, yes,
She
girl.
really is. She's so emotionally intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
every time I see her, she just shocks me with something new, and I'm like, girl, you're not even 5 yet.
I know. It's
Like, that's
crazy.
wild.
And she's always been that way. And it's just
It's
so
true.
funny seeing her grow.
Even at 2 years old, like, I'm just like, ¿de dónde tú sacas estas cosas?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. For me, my proudest thing in my motherhood journey, one is my birth. Like, just having the birth that I desired for myself and executing it, into raising just like a healthy, smart, kind baby, and he's just learning so much every day, and just like him meeting his milestones, and that he has a great example as like the man that he's supposed to be. Because his dad is just an amazing person. So that's what I'm really proud of. Like, I think I'm gonna edit that a little bit. Choosing a great person to procreate with, because I know that Roman has big shoes to fill, to be like his daddy, and I say that proudly. He has such a good father and male figure in his life that he can look up to and be like his daddy or better. So that's something I'm really proud of.
Good. Shout out to Rangers.
Yeah. He's a good man.
Question number 3. What's been the hardest part of motherhood for you, and how did you manage? Maintaining intimacy / romance with my partner. That part.
Oh, man.
It is very important. It's extremely important to try to maintain that. And unfortunately, like, life gets in the way, and you just get so, like, people just get so, well, I'm going to talk from experience. People just get so comfortable with working, coming home, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, doing all these other extra things that you don't take care of your partner at all. So it is really hard, but it is important, and you just have to put the work into it.
I agree 100%, because for me, like, that was like kind of my experience. Like, my whole pregnancy, I didn't want to be touched or have we still had intimacy, but I didn't want to have sex. Like, I didn't want that. It didn't feel good to me, and it took a long time until I really wanted, like, I felt that sex was enjoyable for me. So we really had to navigate, okay, how can we still have intimacy without having sex? Like, how can we still spend me and you time and still have a connection and still have a bond without sex?
Yeah.
And let me say that me and him were together at this point 7 years. So, like, we knew, like, what intimacy was without that part, but, like, we had to rediscover that after having a baby and what that looked like.
And that just goes to show that you literally just have to keep working on your relationship, no matter how many years you've
and
been
making
with.
time for it too, because like like postpartum, your baby consumes your life. Like, that is your number one priority, and that's all you think about and stuff. And that's where my head was at. But, like, that's not fair to him. That's, you know, like, we still need time as a couple. So that I agree. Like we had to be intentional about creating us time, and even if that meant us leaving the house and leaving the baby here with someone, or dropping the baby off for a couple hours, and we just come back home and Netflix and chill and just have some quiet time at home. So yeah, that's it's it. I agree that
It's a struggle.
a struggle. And even having sex, like that shit is rough after having a baby, because everything down there is different, and those first couple of times did not feel good. Like it was hard. But once that shit did feel good, I was just like, okay, she's back. Let's do the thing.
Can't relate. Raising children without a village. I manage by creating chosen family who supports us. Good for you. Good for you. Because at the end of the day, like, you might not have your family, but like, as long as you have someone who shows up and supports you and helps you, like, not all family will do that for you. So as long as you have someone else, you know, who's
And not
there
even
for
for you, but for your kids too. Like I expect that out of my friends. Like I want my friends to be concerned with my son's well-being. Like if you're not asking him how my son is doing or how my husband is doing, I don't want to be your friend. Because we're a team. We go together. And if you are only concerned about me and showing up for me, I don't want that. I want you to show up for all of us. I want you to say, like, hey, how are you? How's Roman? How's Rangers? How is the family? How are you guys all doing as a whole too? Like I expect that out of my friends. And they know that shit.
Well, I've never asked how Rangers was, so I'm gonna have to start doing that.
Girl, but you be over here like, hey Rangers, how are you? Like you actually engage with him though. Like you like, what's up? Like it's not you're not neglecting him. You ain't just showing up for me. And my son calls you Titi for a reason.
Going back to work too soon, still managing. Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I went back to work with Audi after 3 months. And then I'm doing the same thing with Emmy, but I'm working from home. But I do kind of need to get out of the house. So I'm like and then I only have 2 more weeks.
Yeah, but that's such a privilege that you were able to do that. Like 3 months is unheard of. Most of us are only getting 6 weeks. Most men are only getting 2 weeks of, and not that it's unpaid. Unless you saved up some vacation time to extend that, and then you can get paid. So I feel that a lot of women go through that experience of like you have to go back to work after 6 weeks, because if not, who's gonna pay the bills? How are we gonna get food on the table? How are we gonna get formula for our kid?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that we don't have paid maternity leave, but thankfully, because my job loves me so very much, they paid me up until 8 weeks, and then I get to work from home up until she's 3 months, because I was like, amazing. I'm not trying to come back.
That's so nice. For real. I mean, I got lucky that we were able to afford me staying home. Oh my goodness, when did I go back to work? I think Roman was like almost 6 months, maybe. Let's see. No, I'm lying. He was born in May, and I went back to work in like September. So like 4 months, 4 or 5 months. And then, I mean, that was very temporary. And then I started working from home. So, you know, I was able to be there for Roman and stuff. But like, we were able to afford, you know, like we financially were able to do that. Not everyone has that privilege. And it sucks that it has to be a privilege. It's not just like, no, stay home and take care of your baby and heal yourself, because your postpartum healing takes way longer than 6 weeks. Yeah. So what was your hardest moment? What's the question? Let's see. What has been the hardest part of motherhood for you, and how did you manage?
I think breastfeeding was the hardest part for me. And I've already kind of elaborated on how I managed on that. But yeah, I think that would have to be the hardest.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard because like not only does it take like a physical toll on your body, but it's also like mentally exhausting, because it's just like sometimes you produce enough, sometimes you only produce just enough for your baby, and then you have to work, like if you're going
Worry
back,
about how you're gonna feed him later.
yeah, like,
It's
and if
like,
you're back at work, it's like, okay, like I need to pump while I'm at work so that he has enough
yes.
to food, like to drink and eat while I'm at work the next day. And it's just so it's such a mind fuck, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. That's it's rough.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys definitely answering our questions. Please, whenever we do these things, continue to answer because we love the engagement with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be more intentional about including you guys in our topics and getting your feedback and hearing what you guys want us to talk about, what you guys want us to answer and stuff like that. So please engage with us and help us out. And I'm going to call you out too. If you're all my close friends, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, we love you guys so much. And thank you for tuning in to episode 3.
Are you cutting me off? We're not doing the message of the day.
Oh my God. Never mind. Hold on.
All right. Message of the day goes out to you. Having a supportive mom friend who accepts you without judgment is incredibly special. Even if your journey and choices as a mom differ, she still understands and is there for you. That's love.
Stop. You about to make
No, I just wanted to say that I do appreciate you being there for me during this transition. Because I do have a strong support from my family and stuff, but it's different when it's like you're like the outsider of my situation. And you've always been super supportive, and I can't thank you enough for being that for me.
Bitch, you about to make me cry. No. Yeah, I do it because I love you guys so much. And that's just what a good friend does. They ride or die. We ride or die over here. And I will show up for you every time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now go ahead.
No. Yeah, thank you again. We appreciate you guys so much. And we'll see you in next episode, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.